Hi everyone, I'm the plant propagator and welcome to my channel. Today it is a warm, very early July day here in Southwest Florida, and my mosquito friends are all around me, so this may be a quick video today. What I wanted to do was highlight Woo Leng, Dendrobium Woo Leng. And Woo Leng is flowering right here. I don't know if you can see it. There's another bloom spike here, another bloom spike right here, another one behind it right here. There's one that's not open. I don't know if you can see it right here. And there may be more up in the bougainvillea. I don't know. This is a very prolific Dendrobium. It's in a spot that I think it likes. I have it on the top wire shelf here, and it is wired down to the shelf because it gets big. The canes get big, and then the plant falls over. So I've got it wired down. I've also removed some of the canes because it just gets so front heavy as it's growing out from underneath the bougainvillea into the sun. It grows through it, but it also grows out. I don't want to give it too much sun. I do have a keiki from this Dendrobium that's also attached to one of my palm trees, and that is growing big too. It's still in my palm tree. The roots have grabbed on really tightly, but it is a big plant. The canes themselves are very large, and like I say, what I've done is I cut the canes off and they produce keikis. Now I've shared some of those keikis with you guys, with viewers, and I've got one more right here. Now this one right here, so there's a keiki on this plant right here. So the plant's back here, and I'm going to cut this cane off and send this. So Anthony, if you're watching, here's your keiki. It's coming to you later in today's mail, so we'll see how this goes. But right now this has really nice long roots on the keiki. It's on a nice spike. You can either, as with these Dendrobiums, you can either attach it like this to a tree, or you can leave it as intact as possible and just put it on top of a bark mix or whatever potting medium you use. But Anthony, here you go. I wanted to leave it on just for the last second and cut it off for you. So this will get sent out in today's mail. The other thing with in addition to this being so prolific, and there's actually some fragrance associated with it, with the Dendrobium, which I really like, and is a little bit unusual for me to see or to smell in Dendrobiums. But this is fragrant. So I walk by this, it's a little below nose level. But what you can do when you go in here, and when I'm back in this area, is I smell this Dendrobium, and it's really nice. Now these other bloom spikes here and here aren't quite open yet, but I imagine when this thing comes into full bloom, it's just going to be really fragrant back in this space. The other thing that I wanted to, so it's just a great plant, and because it's a great plant, I like propagating it through keikis, but I also like propagating it through seeds. So I've made some selves on this plant. It's very fertile, and so I've made selves on this plant. You can get I think I may have cut off the last capsules that formed on one of the last spikes, because I've got so many selves of this plant that I really don't need anymore. So what do you get out of that? And I'm excited because I've got a first bloom right here on a self from this Woo Leng plant. So I've got, the Woo Leng is right above it. Seems like it's an area that it likes, that it grows well. So this is a self from this, and I have seen some selves from the same plant. This plant right here that is just at the bottom of your screen, this is also a self. It's a sister or brother plant, sibling plant to this one, and it actually looks really similar. So what happens, and what I've seen with selfings of Woo Leng, is that you get, you get the light petals and sepals, but with this plant here that's blooming, I think it opened yesterday for the first time, and it's got many more blooms that are going to open. But what happens, and what you tend to get, is you get the purple lip like you have with Woo Leng, but then what I'm seeing in some of the progeny, it's a little lighter purple, but what I'm seeing is a tinge of purple in the petals that I think is really cool looking. So this is, and I smelled it, it's still kind of early, there's no real fragrance associated with it. And that's fine. It's still nice to have some progeny bloom. These are pretty old. So these, I think, are probably about 3 or 4 years old after I placed the seed in flasks. And what's happened over time is I've gotten better at flasking, and my seedlings bloom much they grow bigger in flask, and they bloom much faster from seed than they used to just even a few years ago. So what I did is I crossed Woo Leng with another orchid, another dendrobium that's right here, and this is Judy Roots, R-U-T-Z. And what happened is I got very few, so the first capsule, the first cross that I made between Woo Leng and Judy Roots, I didn't get that many seedlings, but the seedlings that I was able to recover were incredibly vigorous. And so here's one. Yeah, I got to check the label. So here's one, here's another one. So these are progeny of Woo Leng with Judy Roots, and I named this Woohoo, W-O-O-H-O-O. And I look at these plants, and you don't know how big they are until I tell you that these were seed less than 2 years ago. So I looked at my records today, and I was kind of surprised to see that I flasked these seeds less than 2 years ago. So 3 months short of 2 years ago, the seeds from that cross were flasked to generate Den Woohoo, and these are some of the progeny. Now, I don't have that many, but the ones I have are incredibly vigorous. I have enough, and I have so many, in fact, that I've got a network, a very small network of foster parents in my region from my orchid growing colleagues are fostering some of the orchids just because I have enough so that I can't keep them all myself. So, but I was so excited today, this morning, that one of the foster parents sent me a picture of Woohoo in spike. And again, what's surprising to me is that these plants are this big after being from seed within 2 years. And what's even more surprising and shocking to me is one of the siblings of this plant, and it may actually probably is the largest. I do have some bigger ones of this. These are the ones that are in smaller pots. But what's surprising to me is that Woohoo, the first seedling of Woohoo, is in spike now within 2 years from seed, not of deflasking, but from seed, and that to me is surprising. Here's a picture of what that plant looks like. Again, it's not a huge plant, and I don't know how many flowers are on this spike, and I'm hoping what happens sometimes is with the first spike on a plant that's this small, what happens sometimes is those flowers just don't make it. But this is a good foster parent, and he's really good with dens, so I'm hoping that within a month I can show you the flowers, the first flowers from Woohoo that again will have bloomed and opened within 2 years of flasking that seed, which to me is a real surprise. All right, one of the other things I want to show you, so that's Woohoo. So there's a few things I want to talk with you about. So when you make for example, a self of a plant. So this progeny plant from Woo Leng right here is also, just because of the nomenclature in the orchid world, this is also called Woo Leng. And so you can have things, all progeny that are self are called Woo Leng. So this is an unusual Woo Leng. Most of the time when you see Woo Leng in the stores, and I saw quite a few of them at RF Orchid, those are cloned, and but they'll be very similar, exactly the same. People pick their favorite ones. I like this. Maybe the flowers are a little bit smaller on this progeny plant from the parent plant, but this is also going to be called Woo Leng. It's the same thing, even though the flower is going to look a little bit different. The other thing is that with Woo Hoo, I made a cross previously between, again, Woo Leng and Judy Roots. And I have remade that cross, which I usually don't do, but I got so few plants from that first cross, and the plants were so vigorous that I remade that cross, and that's right here. So this seed capsule is on Judy Roots, and this was pollinated not that long ago, a little over 2 months ago. But the first time, so I keep really good records on when the pollination is and when I harvest and when I flask. I don't do that when I deflask, because what happens is I get flasks, and they get all the flasks that I have, I take the orchids out of there at different times, so it just gets too complicated if I keep records of every deflasking that I do. But the initial capsule that generated Woo Hoo was harvested pretty early. It had started to split, and I harvested, and I was happy because it was a little earlier than normal. I think it might have been only 4 months, but I was happy because I was able to recover seed and a few plants. And again, this is going to be the same thing. I think this capsule already looks a little nicer than the previous capsule that I had. So I'm excited that I'll get more seeds. I'm excited because I know this is a good cross, and it's going to be these are going to be good vigorous progeny that I get from this cross, as with this one and this one, and here's another one down here. I have a few of them, and I'm just really happy with how these guys are looking. All right, so I think that's all I have for today. I'll give you updates of what the first Woo Hoo flower looks like. That's coming up pretty soon. I've got a lot of things going on here. I haven't shown you too many of my cattleya flowers in my collection. I've got a lot of first blooms, I've got a lot of new blooms, and I'll get those to you in future videos. But it's warm, it's humid, it's raining every day right now, not a cloud, and it's hot. But the mosquitoes and the good orchid growth are an indicator that these are really perfect conditions. So, you know, again, I got rain, very high humidity, lots of bright light, and yay, everything's doing well. All right, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did and you want to keep on seeing them, it would help me out if you could click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. All right, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and happy propagating.